Every day, thousands of students travel across campus utilizing the bus system, cars, and other modes of transportation. We wanted to investigate if this had an effect on students' health.
In order to get a sense of what we were being exposed to, we measured the nitrogen oxide levels from an exhaust pipe of a PVTA bus. We found that those levels were at 0.6 particles per meter. Nitrogen dioxide was at 0.12 particles per meter. Hydrogen cyanide levels were at 0.12 particles per meter as well. With this information, we went out to measure how many vehicles passed by in the busiest hours, 10 to 2 p.m. We measured and averaged out 72 UMass vehicles per hour during prime times. This indeed has an effect on the students who frequent this area daily and those who work here as well.
Really? So, what do you think about the UMass transportation system, and how often do you use it?
I use it every day actually to get to and from my apartment. I think it's good for what it is, but there's definitely a lot of improvements need to be made. There's a lot of traffic a lot of the times. I'm late to class a lot. It makes my commute a lot more difficult.
Okay.
But yeah, for the most part, I think it's all right.
Okay, interesting. So, what do you think about the traffic and how it affects your health?
Well, definitely. There's a lot of constant pollution that's going on, especially with all the traffic jams. When the buses are just stagnant, and I'm waiting for the buses. There's going to be another one coming in front of me, and then I'll just get all that exhaust straight to my face.
Yeah.
So that's definitely not a good thing. And I guess the only way that I try to actively avoid, getting a lot of air pollution in my face, just kind of avoiding the back of the buses. But it's still really difficult.
Okay. Thank you so much, Bob. Nice to
Thank
meet you. Interesting. And what do you think about the traffic and how it affects your health?
You know what? When you're standing at the bus stop here or anywhere really and the bus pulls up, the bus is very close to where people stand and talk and, socialize. And a lot of times when I do stand near the bus, particularly towards the end of the bus, I can feel the heat and the exhaust coming out from the bus. And a lot of times I did wonder what exactly was coming out and what I'm taking in and what I'm breathing. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much,
You're
Cheyenne.
welcome.
Good to meet you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, interesting.
Okay.
So what do you think of UMass bans regular traffic during busy times during the day and only had buses drive through this street?
I like when people use just bus rather than using their own own rides.
Okay. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I just pretty much wanted to sit you down and talk to you to pretty much ask you about what you think about the risk factors for students who are exposed to the very high air pollution emissions from buses at the different bus stations at UMass right now.
Well, it's definitely unhealthy for students to be waiting at bus stops for long periods of time. They're exposed to the nitrogen oxide, black carbon, and other pollutants in the air that come from the exhaust from diesel bus engines or gas car.
Okay.
Definitely the longer they wait there, the more they're inhaling this pollutants, and they can go deeper into the lungs, which will affect their health. If they have asthma, they're more susceptible, and in the future, they'll be more susceptible to cardiovascular disease, lung cancer, and other respiratory issues.
Oh, thank you so much for letting me. What goes into measuring the dosage levels that your study team pretty much goes into researching?
So there are a couple factors that affect your dose and your exposure. The first is the concentration. So there are definitely going to be higher concentrations during peak times of traffic when the buses are idling at stops or cars are idling waiting for students to pass. In addition, ventilation rate is another factor. If students are running the class, they're breathing deeper, so they're going to be more susceptible to that. Exposure time, the amount of time you're waiting for the bus, will affect it. Proximity, if you're standing right next to the tailpipe, it's not great. If you're downwind on like a windy day, you're definitely susceptible to some more. And we calculate this using a dose measure. So we estimate that if you're at the bus for about 10 minutes, you're exposed to 35
Cut the emissions released by all these buses at the different bus stops around campus by half, which would eliminate the risk factor chances for diseases like respiratory illnesses and cardiovascular disease.
I'd be really down for that. I think health is really important. I try to keep as healthy as I can, but if I can reduce things that are kind of out of my control, that'd be really important to me, definitely.
That sounds great, Betsy. Thank you.
Thank you.
The peak hours that have the most traffic and students walking to classes are between the hours of 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. After observing and counting the vehicles that drove down North Pleasant during this time, an overwhelming 80% were non-UMass vehicles. Our intervention to reduce air pollution in this area would entail rerouting these non-UMass vehicles during this time. This will then limit traffic, keep buses on schedule, and minimize air pollution exposure to students and faculty. Our policy is very similar to the policies that New York City put in place with bus-only lanes. It is an effort to reduce the amount of passenger cars and taxis on the road. With a more reliable and faster bus system, students and faculty would be then more encouraged to utilize the public transportation system. In the long term, an overall reduction in the amount of cars on the road, individuals choosing public transportation, will have a huge impact on reducing air pollution and protecting the Amherst community from adverse health effects.
Hi, Tabitha. So this what goes into measuring the dosage levels? Yo, I was good, but I looked at it, it was over. I was like, hi, Tabitha. She's like,
I'm sophomore public health major. Oh wait, I'm busy something else.
are you an on-campus student or off-campus? Oh, come on, yo.
Hey, why don't you say Dr. McKinley?
Okay, Dr. McKinley. Okay, perfect. Let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready.
I'm good.
Sorry. Okay. All right.
Wait.